Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, thanks to the astonishing team over at Shozy Store, we're going to be taking a look today at the all-new APC Toys Destruction Galaxy Mob, also known as the Transformers Prime Deluxe Class Robots in Disguise Vehicon. Now, for those of you looking to add this guy to the collection, he is currently available and in stock right now over at Shozy. So for that, of course, I shall pack a link down in the description box below, and I'm just so thrilled to be once again taking a look at another APC Toys release. Honestly, they are truly doing some magnificent fan service to the Transformers Prime collectors, and this guy here is actually super awesome. So very quickly going over the box, you can see fantastic artwork there of the Vehicons. We do in fact actually get an army showcased here amongst that almost mountain backdrop. As we spin our attention here to the back, we merely just have a silhouette image of the Vehicon. So without further ado, let's crack this guy open and see whether or not this guy is as good as I remember him to be. And so here we have the Vehicons cracked open and out of the packaging, and in all honesty, I don't think there's ever been as good of an army builder for the Transformers brand as there were here for these Vehicons. Down to the design, the actual figure itself, the transformation and the vehicle mode, these were literally the best Decepticon protoforms that personally I think we've ever seen. They definitely absolutely obliterate whatever those Refractor clones were in Transformers War for Cybertron trilogy, and to be honest, just as a standalone Decepticon design in itself, they are so damn nicely done, and APC Toys definitely have done fan service here and have literally replicated the original mold, which we'll take a look at in just a second over here, down to a T. Honestly, they've done a fantastic job. Now, of course, bringing this guy in here for a closer look, literally from the ground up, this is essentially the exact same figure that we got well over a decade ago. However, they have indeed actually refined some of the joints, meaning that he is a little more tighter in certain areas, especially where those ball joints are concerned, and we now do in fact actually see the addition of a brand new blaster. So on the original version, I believe we only saw one weapon, whereas with this particular APC Toys version, we do in fact actually get two. You can see that in terms of the design, so awesome. Literally, the Transformers Prime designs in a nutshell. Super sleek, almost anime inspired, but once again, incredibly fresh, and in my personal opinion, really were ahead of their time. I don't think any of the other Toon series that we've seen since Transformers Prime have really matched how awesome these designs truly were. As we bring him in here for a closer look, you can just see that very almost insectoid looking head design. I just think that's turned out great. We do in fact actually get purple transparent light piping for this guy, which I think is awesome. You can see there's silver there for the mouthpiece. This section here does in fact actually come detached out of the package for you guys to in fact insert your own Decepticon insignia there for the torso if you happen to have any lying around. Sadly I didn't, but it is, I imagine, really easy to remove considering that it is just held in via 4 pegs. But you can see some fantastic sculpt as well as paintwork going underneath this section, and just the proportions and the overall design of the arms just so slender and streamlined. These designs truly were magnificent, and surprisingly I believe this figure was one of the only ones of which was better than his first edition counterpart. You can see even as we spin our attention here to the back, super clean looking profile, really awesome sculpt work, literally next to no excess kibble on this guy at all. They really did do a fantastic job. And as we take a look here to the proportions of the arms, I love how they almost flare out to the side. You can see some very nice looking sculpt work here for the inside, and then as we just spin our attention down to the legs, we've got some really nice metallic purple accents, and you can just see overall it's just such a damn awesome looking design. In regards to articulation, of course, considering this is a 2012 era figure, it's not up to par with what you would expect from the War for Cybertron trilogy, and in some regards I do wish that maybe APC Toys could have taken creative license to have given us a waist swivel or maybe some ankle rockers. But nevertheless, in terms of the articulation he does have, we do get a ball joint here at the head which can look up, down, rotate left to right, as well as of course slightly tilt side to side. We do get a hinge joint here at the shoulder which can go up and down, ball joints here which can also rotate the full 360. We do in fact actually get a rotation at where I presume the bicep would be, and due to transformation, a full ball joint as well as a hinge joint here, allowing for a fantastic range of motion here at the elbow. Literally, you can get these in whatever position you want. The movement here at the wrist is slightly hindered. We merely only see a pin joint which can hinge up and down, but still not too bad. Sadly, no waist rotation, but the legs can kick forwards that far, back to that far, out to the sides, rotate here at the thigh, as well as a 90-degree bend there at the knee, and finally, due to transformation, the toe can also pivot forwards and backwards. So in all, such a wicked looking deluxe. Over a decade on, I still definitely think it holds up as being one of the best protoform Decepticons that we've ever seen. Now, bringing in the original version here for a comparison, you can see literally it's been recreated to a T. I believe that even in terms of scale, they are exactly the same. So as we just straighten this Vehicon out, you can see that in regards to detail, I think they've perfectly captured the design. You can see here for the head sculpt, if anything, the APC Toys version actually looks a little little more vibrant and slightly better where that light piping is concerned when in comparison here to the original release. You can see that in terms of the design of the arms, exactly the same. Same can also be said here for the legs, but we do in fact actually get some modifications made here to the weapons, it would seem, so you can see how they have been sculpted with a lot more detail when in comparison to the original version, and they've also been painted so much better. So for those of you who missed out on this original version and perhaps you can't find it on the aftermarket, then I really do think that once again this APC Toys version is definitely worth a look at. Turning here to a few size comparisons, we've got our APC Toys Vehicon compared next to their version of Megatron, and in my opinion, perfect scale. I really do think these guys look great with one another, and for those of you who may wish to in fact actually pick up more than one, it's definitely going to create for an awesome army to display alongside Lord Megatron himself. And very quickly, for a more contemporary comparison, we've got the APC Toys Vehicon compared next to the Transformers Prime Universe Legacy Bulkhead, and finally next to the Legacy Transformers Prime RC. Now, before we get down to transformation, I first of all want to touch base with how you can in fact actually store the weapons on the Vehicon. I do believe there are in fact a few ways of which you can do this. So as you can see here, I merely just have the Vehicon gripping the blaster. I personally don't find this to be a bad look at all, although I do know in the show they did more or less just form out of the forearm. So the best thing that I can kind of do to replicate that would be to take the fist here, rotate this to the back, and you'll notice that we have some clips here that essentially the gun will peg onto. Now I do believe it's supposed to be this one that you are going to want to take and essentially just snap there, and you can see how it will almost sort of look as if though it's formed out of the arm, although I also believe what you can do is in fact actually take the wrist here, peg this section in and rotate down. I actually think that's probably the best way to pose this guy if you really wish to recreate how it appeared on the show. Still not the best looking, but once again I don't think looks too bad, especially from some angles, and considering how poseable this guy is, I'm pretty certain that you'll be able to pull off a pretty convincing look on the display. Now turning to the transformation, considering this guy from the ground up is essentially the exact same as the original version, the transformation is literally identical. So to begin with, you are going to want to take those wrists and just fold them there into the hollow cavity. We'll then want to turn our attention here to the arms and essentially just sort of wriggle these up just like so until those panels snap into place. Of course, come to this side and repeat the same process. So angle that down, snap that section there in just like so. Here with the head, I believe what you want to do is in fact actually extend this here and then just push this all the way and then compress this in just like this. We can then spin our attention down to the lower section, disengage the shin from this almost heel spur piece, take the toe, fold that in upon itself, and there are in fact a lot of panels stored within these sections. So you'll want to extend this forward, and then finally extend this segment out. Of course, come to this side and repeat the same process. So extend all of that out just like so. And then here, I guess if you really wanted to, we could in fact actually combine the two halves, although it's a little easier when you've got them propped up against the upper body. So we'll then just want to compress the knee joints up like so, bring all of this up and over, and now is where personally I would recommend snapping everything here into place. So slide this transparent tab over until it clicks into place, take the spoiler, connect that in just like so, and then here with the arms you'll just want to compress those in on both sides, and you'll notice that we do in fact actually get a slot and a tab here that there will just peg into place. And then here at the back, the spoiler does in fact actually have a cutout that should slide into those tabs, so just overlap those, snapping all of that there into place. And with all that being said, there we have the APC Toys Galaxy Mob Vehicon fully transformed up into once again his super awesome, really stylistic looking vehicle mode. And even here with the vehicle mode, I find myself once again being equally as impressed as I was with the bot mode. This is such a nice representation of how the Vehicon alt modes looked in Transformers Prime. They've really captured the detail down to a T. You can see how we've got those fantastic metallic purple accents towards the front with a really dominant metallic black motif going on for the rest of the vehicle mode. I think that it looks so nicely done. Even here for the hubcaps, completely sculpted as well as painted. And as we actually spin our attention here to the back, you can once again see some really nice metallic purple highlights highlights as well as some sculpt work, and we've even got some exhaust pipes there, which I think is really, really cool. As we turn our attention here to a bird's eye perspective, you can just see how sleek and elegant and stylistic these designs truly were. I really do think they are super awesome. And back to my point in bot mode, I do not think there has ever been a better Decepticon protoform design than this particular TF Prime Vehicon. They truly did knock it out of the park when they designed these guys. You can see here for the headlights, they too also look really nicely done, as so does some of the sculpt work we've got going on here. And despite this guy being a KO, I did in fact actually find the plastic to be a lot tougher and a lot more durable when in comparison to the official release. Now that could be down to, of course, the original version being over a decade old, or it could be down to the simple fact that the KO companies are indeed using better plastic now than the official companies were 10 years ago. You can see here from a side perspective, everything just comes together so nicely, and he can in fact actually roll along the ground with absolute ease. Now in regards to weapon storage, of course, considering this time round he comes with 2 blasters, these do in fact actually tab into some MechTech ports here onto the side. I personally don't ever recall the actual Vehicons utilizing their blasters in alt mode. Maybe they did. I do know that during 2011, 2012 there was this almost stealth force gimmick going on, especially with Transformers Dark of the Moon, so they maybe did, but personally I don't recall it. But it is definitely a really awesome look. I can just imagine the Vehicons gunning down RC and Bumblebee in battle in order to, of course, take them on in robot mode. And here for a very quick Vehicon vehicle mode comparison, we have our APC Toys version on the right and the official Hasbro version here on the left. And you can see that in regards to detail and paint, besides the Decepticon insignia, they are pretty much identical. So for those of you who maybe own the official version but were always looking into maybe army building, I really don't think this APC Toys version is going to look out of place with this official offering at all, as from a side perspective, they literally look identical. If I had any critiques, it would be that I slightly find myself preferring the lighter shade of metallic purple that we've got going on here for the Hasbro version, but that's not to take anything away here from the APC Toys version. I do find it to be just as good. It's just in regards to a personal preference, I do like the lighter shade, but sculpt work from the front is exactly the same, as well as here at the side, and of course even here at the back. And so some final thoughts for this APC Toys Galaxy Mob Transformers Prime Deluxe Class Vehicon. Overall, as far as KOs are concerned, I truly do think APC Toys create some of the best out there. This is an almost one-to-one representation of what we saw of the original Hasbro offering. I really do think they've captured all of the details perfectly, and in some regards even better than that official offering. I personally do find the head sculpt on this knockoff version to be a little better when in comparison to the official offering. All of the paint is really nicely done. I love the fact that he does indeed come with 2 modified blasters instead of that rather crappy singular weapon that we saw on the original version. The articulation is the same as the original release, and maybe I would have liked to have seen them implement a waist joint. They have definitely modified some of the previous molds in the past, such as RC, and I believe they even slightly modified their version of Megatron, so it would have been nice if they could have made some slight tweaks to this mold. But overall, as it stands, it was a great mold to begin with, and personally I'm just glad that I have had a second chance to in fact actually purchase this in order to army build the Vehicons, as they do now sadly go for quite a hefty price tag on the aftermarket. I think in regards to transformation, very simplistic but yet incredibly effective, especially where the bot and vehicle mode is concerned. Both of them look exactly how they appeared on the show, and as I've mentioned throughout this review, I really do find the TF Prime Vehicon design to be one of the best Decepticon protoforms that we've ever seen, especially in regards to a Transformers related army builder. I really don't think there is any other competition out there. So with all that being said, if you guys are in the market to add this guy to your collection, he is currently available and in stock right now over at Showzy Store. So for that, of course, I shall pack a link down in the description box below. I would love to hear your thoughts down in the comment section below on what you guys not only think of the figure but also the review, and do you guys rate the Vehicon design as highly as I do. As always, I thank you all so much for watching, and until my next review, I'll see you then. Thanks for watching.